Hey, what's up? Ward Wrestling here. Man, another great show coming for you. I've got Grayson Fisher with Caveman Wrestling. Young man wrestled for Carrollwood Day and Tampa Jesuit here in Florida. Uh, Two-time qualifier, state placer, and fights in the MMA world. And now he's coaching back here at Caveman and Phoenix. So that's the boys and the girls. So, man, welcome to the show. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, dude. It was awesome meeting you at Girls AAU States. Fortunately, we had a great showing and we were able to get some good conversation to make this happen.
Yeah, man, it was good to get to meet you in person. I know we've gone back and forth, but it was awesome. Yeah, the AAU States was really good, man. You guys had obviously Phoenix was there, and we got to see those girls compete. I love the little girl. Is it Holly?
Yeah, Avery Hall,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's just fun. She runs around, and all the big girls love her. And
That's one thing our girls team does a really good job at is, even if there's an age difference, the older girls really take the younger girls under their wing. And I think that's something that's really going to benefit the program down the road once the younger girls get older because culture, we're really big on culture, both Caveman and Phoenix. And if that's something that starts building now, then those girls, when they get older, start taking care of the younger girls, and it just keep flowing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, man, I know you guys moved into a new facility down there in Tampa. You guys are together, right? And
Yes, sir.
I know BB, Coach BB took over the other spot, right?
Yes, sir.
So awesome, man. So tell me about it. How do they kids get involved? How do they come and see you? What days are you guys open? When are you working?
Yeah, so we were originally working out of Cooper's Sports Performance, and we had an opportunity come across our lap for a giant size upgrade. We were moving from around 1,800 feet to 5,000 square feet. And it was obviously a difficult decision, because we were super close with Cooper and them. But at the end of the day, our number one priority is what's best for the club and what's best for the kids. And when you see this facility, it's unbelievable. Like 5,000 square feet, two full mats. We're working on getting a whole workout facility in there. We're currently in the process of getting a strength and conditioning slash rehab coach. We're going to be as legitimate as far as having resources as any of the top clubs in the country. As far as practice schedules, man, we're there. I'm there 7 days a week. We have a coach there all the time. Monday and Wednesdays we have our invitational only practices, which are kind of like Coach Joyce handpicks our like higher level kids so he can get a little more hands on with them. As you know, he's probably one of the greatest youth wrestling coaches to ever come out of the state of Florida. And then those Monday and Wednesday nights, we have girls. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have our 14U. We have our little kids, which is like 3 to 5, 6 years old, which we let Coach Joyce handle. I can't do that little. I'm not that good yet. Then we have our 14U, then we have our high school. And then usually with the weekends, it all kind of depends in season or not in season. Like, for example, right now we're not in season. We'll usually have like a 2 hour open mat on Fridays where kids will just come in. One thing that we're very blessed with at Caveman and Phoenix combined is we have 10 coaches on staff. So in every single practice or every open mat, we have 4 to 6 coaches. So it's just knowledge is constantly being given, and kids, every single kid, whether if they're a returning state champ or their first day wrestler, is getting the same amount of attention. We usually compete on Saturdays. This Saturday, like I said, we have a clinic with Chris Foca, and then Sundays are like I guess you can call it intensive days. We run girls, then Coach Joyce runs our hour plyometrics, then we run a guys practice, and it's usually try to fine tune the mistakes that happened from the tournament the Friday, Saturday before. So that's kind of like what a week is like in the Caveman and Phoenix,
That's awesome.
facility.
So you guys got a lot going on down there. That's good. And it sounds like is Joyce still getting out on the mat and still trying to work as much as he can with the kids? He's still getting in there. Is he trying to like groom you to do it?
Oh, dude, for sure. So Joyce, if you talk to Joyce, he'll say, I'm handing it over. It's Grayson and Daners, it's Daisies. But that man lives on that mat, dude. The good thing about this move is we just moved to Odessa Trinity area, so it's only 10 minutes from his house. So he is there all the time. Sometimes he's there to the point where we're like, yo, go home, see your wife, dude. Like, go get out of here. Or sometimes we'll catch him trying to wrestle, and we're like, hey, we don't need you hurt. But having him around is such a privilege, and I'm able to, be someone that didn't wrestle in college, and I'm in my third year right now of my coaching career, and able to just listen to him and pick his brain apart every single day, and just, hear the stories and just learn little innuendos, sorry, here and there, and just little terminology, and Even Coach Daisy said the same. We're all super blessed, and even if he's just in the facility, there's just a better vibe. The parents feel good. There'll be days where, like tonight, we'll probably run high school practice, and he'll just sit down and hang out with the parents. And then occasionally he'll stand up and say something about a movie we showed, and then he'll sit back down. So the way I would describe Joyce's relationship right now with the clubs is he's kind of like the Bill Belichick, and like,
Yeah.
we're kind of like the coordinators. Like he gives us the game plan, he shows us what he wants done, and we kind of the ones that pursue it.
Oh man, that's really cool. But I mean, also, I mean, being I know you're young, but your high school career was you were around some pretty damn good coaches. I mean, legends in our sport in our state. You had Bricker, and then you had Basil and Mason. I mean, those are three of the top coaches to coach in our state. So you had to pick up some knowledge there, being coached by them, and then now over to Caveman. Um, is that how you fell in love with coaching? I mean, you've been around great coaches. None of them I could imagine are beating you up or MFing you or calling you names. Like those guys are all they're firm, they're fair, and they love. So I'd imagine you got to feel all of that coming through high school.
Dude, for sure. So I actually unfortunately didn't get coached by Coach Mason. He came there 2 years after I was there. But I mean, I always say I'm super blessed. I started my wrestling journey with Coach Michael Santos. So right off bat, I already had a legend that introduced me to the sport. Then I went to Caveman with Coach Joyce. I go to high school and I have Coach Mike Shikatana, who is an extremely technical coach out of Jesuit who got them their first state champ in 10 years with Austin Underwood. Then I
Wow.
go to Sal Basil, and then I go into the Tampa prep room with Andy Bricker and Jake Campbell and Big Tony. So there was never a time in my career as a wrestler where I had to question if I had the right coach. And then even my senior year, I was doing one-on-ones with former Jesuit coach Dave Bergito, who was a NCAA qualifier at Virginia Tech. So I constantly had so many high-level people that had success, and being in the room with high-level guys as well. I mean, I was in the room with Julian Ramirez. I was in the room with Adam Lewis. I was in the room with Leo Tarantino and Anthony Artelona and Makina. So I was yes, I wasn't able to, achieve my dreams of being the state champ, national champ, but I was able to see what it takes to get there. And I always joked with Bricker when I was in high school because he really wanted me to wrestle in college. And I was like, I'm just going to go to UT and coach at Tampa Prep with you. Just always just joking around with him. But I think the love, so let me backtrack. The whole reason my coaching career started was my senior year in high school. I was at FAU in South Florida, and my junior year I stayed home because of COVID. So my senior year I was coming back, and I was like, I really need a job, but I really need to train. I was like, I need to find a good in between ground. So I started poking around, and one of my childhood or high school best friends is Julian Ramirez, who's at Cornell. So I called him. I was like, "Yo, do you have any connections in South Florida that maybe I could get a high school coaching job? I'd be wrestling every day, and I'd also be getting paid, and I'd be getting to be around wrestling." So he got me in touch with Sean Sheldon, and I was able to actually start my coaching career at American Heritage that year. And I just fell in love with it. I'm a product of both my parents are teachers for over 50 years combined in Hillsborough County. So I think it was just something that was I never saw coming, but they kind of saw something like that would happen. And dude, I had a blast. I think we brought 8 kids to state that year. We had 5 state placers, 4 state finalists, and two state champs. So right then I was hooked. And then I came back to Tampa when I graduated, and I didn't really know if I was going to coach again. It was kind of just fighting and trying to find a job. And one of my best friends, Matthew Dana, was coaching at Caveman. He was like, "Yo, just come in for a practice or during summer camp, see Joyce," because I always want to see Joyce and say what's up. And I go there, and it was good seeing Joyce. I wrestled with some of the kids, and Joyce is just like, "Why don't you come back Tuesday?" And I came back Tuesday, and he's like, "Why don't you come back Thursday?" And then it kind of just got caught in the loop, and then you start building these relationships with these kids, and it's just I fell in love with it all over again, dude. And I was like, I really want to do this. And the thing that was awesome about being a caveman is obviously having the knowledge from Joyce, but it's like I don't have to. I'm not forced to work with who I have to work with. I can choose who I work with now. I can work with a kid from Riverview. I can work with a kid from this school, that school. Versus when you're at a school, you're only fed a certain amount of kids. Now I have whoever can come to my club I can work with. So I think that was really cool too to feel my impact beyond just a school.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Campbell in there, man. He's an awesome dude too.
Dude, awesome person.
Oh, that man. So you've been around some talent that's awesome. And it's good. I mean, always good coaches coming in. So I know that you went from that to kind of an MMA career. So I know you've had some fights under your belt, and you're looking to fight again. How is that going to affect? And are you going to be able to coach and train, or maybe since you're in the wrestling room all the time, your wrestling is on point, right? Are you
Yeah,
going
so
to get in and do some hand to hand, some jujitsu, some boxing, to kind of get yourself prepared for your next fight?
so I wrestle every single day. We were talking about that before. I'm there 7 days a week. I'm literally, I get to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm wrestling again today. But I'm blessed that, out of my gym is under Crew Vince McGinnis, who's a Bang Muay Thai black belt. So my striking's all handled there. I have very high grappling there with John Orlatani and Alon Cruz. So I'm always able to train. And the good thing is, with wrestling, these kids go to school, so I can't coach them till at night. My training's all in the morning. So I'm able to train in the morning, go to work, and then go coach at night. Now the days are very long. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're grueling days, but it's able to be done. As we was talking about before, right now I'm taking a little pause just because, I'm trying to be on the girls national duels team and the girls Fargo team as we have a bunch of Phoenix girls out there, and I'm really trying to learn more from these national coaches and, learn more as a coach. We always tell our kids that in the off season they need to be getting 100 matches in, and as coaches, Coach Joyce, as I was saying earlier, he's like our Bill Belichick. He has homework for us too, and he's like, for us to become good to great coaches, I need to be able to confidently say that I've coached 1,000 matches. So I'm trying to do that now. I'm trying to get my match count up. I'm trying to get my freestyle up. I'm trying to just I can't have expectations of my wrestlers to do something and then I'm not doing the same thing as a coach. So right now the summer we're slammed with wrestling, with the freestyle and Greco as well as summer camps and kids are out of school. So I'm just taking a step back a little, trying to hone in and not lose myself in the chaos of everything. And then
Nice
hopefully
to
after
not
summer I get back into the fighting.
take a break of getting punched in the face.
Yeah, it's a nice break to wake up at 8 a.m. knowing I'm not getting punched today sometimes.
Now, have you been out to Fargo before? Did you go out when you were?
So my senior year I competed in Fargo and it was, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was probably the worst experience of wrestling in my whole life.
Oh,
I never did freestyle. I was just it was my senior year and I was like, I'm just gonna try to get as many matches as I can. My training partner was Anthony Artolona, who's probably the king of Fargo. So it was like there's no way I wasn't gonna, at least go and just compete a little here and there. So I go to the Fargo qualifier. Mind you, I've never wrestled a freestyle match in my life, just what we've done in practice. And I go 7-0 and make the finals against Artelona. And he obviously ragdolls me. But afterwards, I'm sitting there and Bricker comes up to me. He's like, "You gonna go to Fargo?" And I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "I think you should go." So I'm like, you know what, dude, let's go to Fargo. And I have a great camp, whatever you call it. I had a great weight cut. Everything went great. And then my first match in the tournament is returning three-time Fargo champ Brock Hardy. So I automatically start 0-1. Fun fact though, I got the first takedown and then he texted me right away. But I did score first. And then my next match, I had some like North Carolina state champ. I lost 12-12 on criteria, and that was it. I went 0-2 at
And then
Fargo,
you're
and I
there
just
for, and then you're there for 8 more days.
yeah, exactly. But I do have some great memories, dude. I was able to room with Artelona, and that I was able to pick his brain so much more than just being in the room with him at back home. I was able to make some really good friends with like Jacob Cochran and a bunch of the Miami guys. So I did learn a lot from it. But damn, if you're not really good at wrestling, I don't know if Fargo's a tournament for you, dude.
I,
It's grueling.
I think it's a good experience. I think, as many Florida kids as can should try to experience it and get out there. And yeah, I mean, again, hopefully you go out there and if you get your butt whooped, you're like, okay, now I know what level I need to train for, right? Hopefully you don't go out there and get your butt whooped and go, yeah, I think when I get home, I'm just going to light these shoes on fire and I'm done, right? That's not the goal. But I think Mason and those coaches do a really, really good job because I've been out there the last 2 years around the Florida team. First of all, they work their ass off, right? But
Mhm.
second of all, it's long days, long trip, and they're taking care of your kids or taking care of your children, and it's uh it's really cool. It's a cool experience, and I think like you said it. My son went out there his senior year. He wanted to do it, um, and he got to go out and experience it. I think he won 2 matches or 3 matches, and that was that. But what a cool experience. He met people, he got to room with people, he got to hang out with the whole team, he got to go around and see the college, he got to, you know, do whatever it is kids do when they're at Fargo and they're not on the mat, right? But they have check-ins, they've got to see the coaches and they all make sure. But yeah, what a cool experience. And I think going back as a coach, you'll probably have a better experience than
Yeah, I hope so, dude. I hope so. Or maybe get some wins, you know?
yeah, but it's crazy. Like I said, and I never hide it. I was never a wrestler, right? I just fell in love with it through my children and the sport giving back to us. But yeah, you can definitely see like I mean, I remember my son had the best high school year he had in wrestling, and he placed at the state tournament. He won district, won region, and he shows up at Poseidon, and I think his first match is Cooper Haas, and he gets completely fucking killed.
Yeah.
We got him in a cradle within under a minute. I'm over top taking pictures. You're getting cradled. He didn't talk to me for like a month, but yeah, it can definitely take you from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, and
For
you
sure, dude.
you realize, man,
At
I
least at Poseidon, though, you're in Florida, dude. It was like, you've been to Fargo. If you've never been to Fargo, you land in the airport, you drive 5 minutes, and there's like a handful of hotels. There's NDSU, and there's like a handful of cheap restaurants, and then it's 30 miles of grass. Like it's not
yeah,
like if you lose at Poseidon, you're like, oh, let's go walk around, let's go look at things, let's go outside. Like, no, you're just stuck. You're stuck in one spot, and
yeah.
that's where
But
I
you
was
know
like, dude,
what,
I'm just sitting here.
but the kids make it fun. They build that little flea market in the back. They do all the little sales in the back. They've got little stores going on. You know, they it's an experience. They got the little black market they call it in the back where kids are. Were they doing that when you were there too, where they were trading
Yeah,
sales?
I remember that was when I was like really big into like wrestling swag. So I was trading shoes. I remember me and Jacob Cochran, like at the time, everybody wants Florida gear. Like it doesn't matter if Florida's good or not. The Florida gear is always the best. I'll live and die by that. So I remember we used to set up shop like right outside, and like I probably made a lot of money there too. And I have like an Ohio national team singlet now. Like I have all these random singlets and like shirts and shorts. My mom's like, "How'd you even get those?" I'm like, "Fargo and NHSCA."
Yeah.
Like that's where I would
Florida Gear
just
looks
get all
cool
my
this year.
gear.
I saw Mason, I think, posted a picture of the Florida singlets last night, so they look pretty dope. But man, I hope you're out there. So I have plans to be there again. My plans changed this past weekend because uh, now Daniel's going out to Lima, Peru for Panama Pan American Championship. Is that what it's called? Pan American Championship.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, because we went down to Puerto Rico, so we qualified for that, and we're going to go down there. But I think I fly back a day, either a day of or a day after they fly to Fargo. So I texted Mason, I might have to show up a day late. Obviously, he understands. I'm not going to miss
Yeah.
my time doing that. It's if he was just wrestling a little weekend tournament that weekend, he could go do that, and I'll go do my own thing. But
Yeah.
who knows if we'll ever get to experience this again, right? Sometimes, so go enjoy it. That's what I say. But man, so yeah, Caveman is growing. Phoenix is growing. I see the girls everywhere. You guys are doing awesome. You've got a clinic coming up. I know you mentioned with a Cornell coach or Cornell wrestler coming in, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. This Saturday, it's a two sessions. We'll have, I think it's 10 to 12:30 and then 1:30 to 3:30. Cornell captain. He's a three-time NCAA qualifier, All-American, Fargo champion, New Jersey state champion, and five-time United States World Team member, Chris Foca. And we're very grateful because it's not like Chris Foca is coming to Florida and he's hitting places around. Now, Chris Foca is coming to Caveman to run a clinic. Like that is what he's coming down for. I'm gonna be picking him up today. He's gonna help out practice and then run an awesome clinic on Saturday and hopefully we can get some some of our higher level kids to work some one on ones with them as well. But talk about we talk about this a lot when we set up clinics because we usually get about 4 to 6 every summer, just from our vast amount of resources through Joyce and alumni. Is like being a good wrestler doesn't make you a good clinician, and that's something that Coach Joyce has preached to us a lot. And the thing that excites me so much about Foca is, he's one of my very good friends. Is he has an awesome personality and he's very like electric. So yes, these kids are going to learn super high level moves that work at literally the highest levels of wrestling, but they're also going to have a lot of fun doing so. And that's what's the most important part to me as a clinic is you can bring in big name people and they can just be boring and you can just take a picture with them and tell everybody you met them. Or you're going to be able to get a clinic, get better, and then have a memory for the rest of your life, always remembering how much fun you had there. And that's what I know Foca brings to the table, and that's what makes me very excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm sure he'll do the same for you again. Yeah, there's and being freestyle season with his accolades and stuff. I'm sure that'll be great for the kids. Man, if you can't find wrestling this weekend in Florida, I mean, you've got Team Florida wrestling going on. You've got a clinic. Lake Island Prep is doing a rumble. There's other
Mhm.
clinics going on around the state. I mean, if you're a boy or girl wrestling in this state, go out and find one of these places and uh, and get in there and get better because there's places all around the state. If you're in the Tampa area or in striking distance, go down and see FOCA and the boys and girls at Caveman and Phoenix. But yeah, anywhere you're at in this state, there's a place for you this weekend to get better. So go out, and obviously Caveman has a stud coming in, and we got camps coming to this state, excuse me, all over the place. Man,
Mhm.
coming up in June, with obviously at Spartan Nationals, you've got their athletes do clinics throughout the days, and then
Yeah.
got Osceola's big camp that's legendary that goes
You
on all.
got one with like Lugo in Miami too, like Miami Elite
Yeah,
now.
Lugo in Miami's going on. Obviously, Duck does his camp. I just got off the phone with Graham yesterday, where he's bringing Jordan Burroughs and Mikey DeAugustino and those guys, and
It's
then
awesome.
uh, Schick and those guys down there at Lemon Bay have got Mako coming in. So, man, even your
We
kids.
also have two big. So sorry to interrupt you. Caveman also has two big ones this June. June 14th, we'll have Julian Ramirez running a clinic, and then June 29th, we'll have Tom Crook running a clinic.
Nice, perfect. Yeah. So, see some more stuff. So, you got a lot going on throughout the state, and that'll be fun. Tom Crook is a stud. Julian is a stud. And I just saw it. Where did I see Julian? Was it Olympic trials? I think it was Olympic trials. I saw Julian up there.
Yes, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I said what's up to him, and I told him next year's your year. It's been blood round, blood round,
Yeah,
blood round. Next year.
yeah. Trust me, I've he's made me cry 3 years in a row in the blood round. So we got to do something different this year.
Yeah, and each year he's wrestling really well going into that, and he just runs into somebody that it's just. I know he's a believer, and I know he just believes that I guess God has a plan, like we all do, and
Mhm.
it just hasn't been in his day, right? He
Yeah, well, he's
hasn't
also, dude. He's in the deepest weight class every
he
single
hasn't
year. I mean,
blessed him
dude.
yet, and hopefully he gets blessed coming into his last year.
Yeah. The
Great
one
to-
thing I will speak on Julian as, being one of his, uh, one of my best friends is, yes, he doesn't always get the outcome he wants, but do talk about a great teammate. You can go back and watch after he gets knocked out. He's in the corner for every single one of his friends' matches. He's the first kid to hug them every single match. And this past weekend, he actually just won the leadership award for the Cornell wrestling team. And I understand that he wasn't able to reach his potential goals and his everything, but there's a lot of guys on that team that wouldn't have been able to do what they did if it wasn't for Julian. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. And I always try to remind him as well. You even heard Meyer Shapiro say that he gives so much credit to his training partner, Julian Ramirez. And that's something I try to, use Julian as a role model to my kids is sometimes you're not going to achieve your dream, but without you, someone else can't achieve theirs. And I think Julian's a really good living representation of that.
It's awesome, yeah, and you hear a lot of obviously. With that being said, being a blood round kid in the NCAA's is still better than
Yeah.
95% or 93% of anybody that's ever wrestled in college, right?
Yeah.
So good for him, right? I mean, there's some big names out there that didn't get through the blood round, right? Because how deep the thing is. But yeah, what a great kid, what a great family, what a great human. And obviously down here in Florida, we're always rooting for him, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
we'd love to see him pull that out. Well, that's good. Yeah, you guys got a lot going on there, and you guys have a lot of the girls coming out of that program are starting to go off to college. I know uh, one of your girls committed to my son's school up in Illinois at North Central, so that was
Yes,
cool.
sir.
And hope to see more girls come out of that room and head up there. They got a great program. They do a great job at getting the girls better.
Yeah, our girls are awesome, dude. Our girls and guys have like opposite problems. Our girls are very top heavy, where they're our high school program's already on a national level and they're able to go, but they don't have the depth of the younger girls yet. And that's not, on Daisy or on us. That's just more the fact how new the sport is to girls. Versus on the other end of Caveman, we have some very solid high school wrestlers, but our youth wrestlers is what's going to be on the national level in the next 3 to 5 years.
I think you're
So
hearing that
that's
a
definitely like
lot.
what's.
I think you're hearing that a lot throughout our state, which is good. Like
Mm,
guys at Caveman, Dante Giovanetta down in the island,
yeah, they're doing good with him and
and,
Sherman.
and you're hearing, yeah, obviously Miami wrestling in Southridge and what Balmaceda Train doing, and Duck is always funneling kids in, and you hear, down in Naples with Tyson and obviously Elite down there with Iron. I mean, and if I'm forgetting you, it's not intentional, but Chris over on the coast. I mean, just all these guys they've got youth kids like you do, and they all tell you, our high school kids are pretty good, BB trained, our high school kids are pretty good, but wait till you see these kids when they hit sixth grade, seventh grade.
Mhm.
And when you go out to these AAU and these USA wrestling and these weekend things and these IOFs, and you're starting to see these little kids wrestle, and you're like, wow, I think our state is in a good place moving
Dude, it's
forward.
awesome. We went to Tulsa Nationals this year, and just seeing kids from Florida win the tournament or even All American, it's like it's showing you that Florida wrestling is it's coming. It's coming. And I think with the rise of women's wrestling, it's helping it a lot. If you look at
Your old club, Tiger Wrestling. I mean, they've got some
yeah,
hammers coming up through that club. I forgot them. Sorry. I
no, no, you're good.
Lake Gibson. I mean, I gotta keep going, right? It's just
Yeah,
they're all coming. Obviously, Lake Highland.
yeah.
I mean,
The Scorpions have a really good club as well. We wrestle with them. We
Sawa,
wrestle against
Sawa
them a
over
ton.
there. Yeah, Sawa over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you hear the same thing that you say, and then you're probably thinking like when I talk to Dante, I'm like, hey, are you going off to this tournament, that time? He goes, nah, we got one more year before I start taking kids there. I'm
Mhm.
not ready yet.
That's exactly how we feel. It's like I want to be there, but if I rush it right now, it's not going to go well for my current guys. Give me 2 years and we'll be there.
Yeah, as we say, he says, I don't want to take somebody just to get smacked and come back, right? Like,
100%.
and it's different if I feel like they're ready and we just go, like you said, you were ready for Fargo. You just happened
Mhm.
to get a bad bracket, right?
That's got the worst draw of
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah. So that happens, right? You prepare yourself correctly and you show up. I mean, what did Gunnar Holland just went to US Open and his first match out of the gate was Blaze. And he's like, shit, yeah, my first match, right? So he was already on the wrestle back, right? So sometimes you just get caught with a bracket, and that's the way the ball bounces, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Man, do you know Shanahanna?
Yeah, yeah. Shanahan's a very good friend of mine. I actually roomed with him at Fargo as well. It was me, him, Troy Nation, and
See his
Anthony
bracket?
Orlando.
Did you see his bracket in Istanbul?
I didn't look at the ins and outs of it, but I saw that it was not small.
And that Zane's Rutherford's in the bracket. I mean, he's
He has to place top three, I think, right?
yeah, and Reap Charge, right?
Ah, dang. Yeah,
So
him and I actually were just talking the other day because I've been trying to get him to come to Caveman. He's one of my like, I was really good friends with him and Angel Hernandez when they were at Lake Gibson. Those are like two of my very
he's a
good close
great
boys.
he's a great guy, and shout out to him for introducing me to Uncle Apps. The 24 karat gold. I got him.
That's awesome.
Oh, man, showing the fat guy where the chicken wings are. It's a good job. Man, well, I'm glad we got time to connect. And yeah, if you ever have anything going on, if you ever need me for anything, I'd love to help. If obviously I do media days and club media days and things like that. So let me know. I know you guys have a girl down there and her mom does it and she does a fantastic job and she does great, Miss Leota, and please continue to use her. But if she's not available for anything and you need somebody, I'd be happy to jump in. Um, but yeah, she does a fantastic job as well. So, but if you ever need me for any of that, I can do it. If you're posting stuff about promoting your club, I ask people just if you want me to share it, just tag me because I don't see everything. And then people are like,
Mhm.
why'd you share his and not mine? And I'm like, well, I didn't see yours. I don't, I'm not on there like, you know what I mean? Like, or no, I don't like that person. Yeah, I like that person. I'll share that. If I get tagged, most of the time, legit, I don't even read it. I know Southeast Wrestle will say, hey man, thanks for sharing my video. Did you watch it? Was it good? I go, no, I didn't watch it. I just saw you tag me, so I shared it. He's like, oh,
I
well,
should
I
reposted
watch it.
it.
So half the time I just see it, and if I'm tagged in it, that means you're promoting something. So I just hit it and hit the share button. So let's do that, man. Um, but yeah, I'd love to get down there and see you guys and do all that. It's been crazy busy. So what do you guys well, this weekend you have a clinic, so you guys aren't out, you guys aren't traveling for a rumble or going over to
Mhm.
Houston to wrestle. You guys are doing the clinic this year, this
Yeah,
week.
so our foreseeable future schedule is right now we're gonna be having the clinic this Saturday. We're probably gonna go to Brandon next Saturday just to get our high school kids some matches, especially the ones that want to go to the Fargo qualifier, get some easy. The good thing about Brandon is you can pay $20 and get 8 matches in, so it's good just to get the matches in. The following weekend from that, so that the 18th we're going to Brandon, the 25th we're going to be hosting our first Rumble at Caveman in Phoenix. So we're hoping that that goes well. And then the weekend after that, we'll be in Orlando at Spartan for the Fargo qualifier. So we got a busy couple weeks. I always joke around. I'm 24 years old, and nobody told me I wouldn't get weekends at this age. So I'm always busy. I'm busier on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday than I am a Monday through Thursday. But I love it, man. I don't. Whenever I'm coaching or somebody asks what I did that day, I never consider it work. It's always a privilege to be there. It's always a privilege to be coaching the girls, coaching the guys, coaching the youth. And I'll finish off with this, but one big thing is when we first got into the coaching staff under Coach Joyce, he made it very clear that we're not in the wrestling business, we're in the changing lives business. And yes, we want to help kids. I always tell parents my two biggest goals for you are to get your kid to win a state title and get you free college. But our actual biggest goal is that when your kid's 30 years old and he has his own son or she has her own daughter or vice versa, they're bringing them to Caveman because of how much we impacted their lives as a person, not just as a wrestler.
That's awesome, man. With that being said, let's wrap it up.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around some tournaments and hopefully at Caveman or Phoenix sometime.
For sure, man. Call me up if I'm available. I'll come out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good buddy.